This is the El Donzo and Dees show.
I'm El Donzo.
I am Dees. Take a quick minute to remind you, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/EldonzoDees, where sports fans, you can now catch Hanging with Dees, our new sports show, as well as all of our El Donzo and Dees content. Also, follow us on Twitter. That is at El Donzo Dees. Are you looking at me?
Yeah, you know what? You better mention the El Donzo and Dees show.
I did. Relax.
All right. Plug in your own personal stuff here.
We're on the air. That's so unprofessional. And on Facebook at facebook.com/EldonzoDees. You know, there's sports fans out there that maybe they, you know.
Yes, there is. I'm just
want
blowing
to
you
hear
smoke.
me talk about the greatest franchise in NFL.
The Bears?
Not so much. All right, go ahead.
For it. So, moving on. This is from the Blaze. And I don't think you've seen this one because I put this in there at the last minute. We're gonna read through it. I didn't have a chance to really comb through it like I wanted to, so we'll just go ahead and read it on air. What do you think, Dees?
All right,
let me make sure I got enough time here, brother man. Yeah, I do. Okay, this bowled me over. This is the headline. We're gonna read through the story. I don't like to read too much, of an article, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. Chicago gangs asked not to commit shootings between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Let's get into it. A community group from the north side of Chicago is asking gang members not to fire guns or commit any shooting during the daytime between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. The proposal came from a community group called the Native Sons, who recently emailed out a newsletter featuring an image they dubbed the People's Ordinance. The group is from an area called Rogers Park, where a gang war between the Gangster Disciples and Black P-Stones. That sounds like something you have to pass, doesn't it? A Black P-Stone. That sounds painful to me. The Black P-Stones in Uptown is believed to have been reignited. The semi-peaceful proposal also had captions such as "No sliding while the sun is out." And what is sliding?
I have no idea.
That's got to be something for busting a cap in a MFer's butt or something, doesn't it?
I don't know. You're going to slide by and
slide
pop
on
a
by.
cap in a...
I'm going to slide it in. I don't know. Quote, "We have to start somewhere." Tatiana Atkins, co-founder of Native Sons, said, "Our goal is to approach our city's gun violence problem strategically and not all at once. Things didn't become this way overnight, and change won't happen overnight." Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you can get the gangbangers to stop shooting themselves between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., then why wouldn't you think you can get them to stop it all the time? What you telling me that? Are you telling me that somebody's about? Yo, homie, whoa, we can't be shooting each other.
Yeah, man.
It's 9:02, man. Put your cat back. What, are you serious? Is this going to happen?
First off, I'm trying to get some sleep. So if you got to pop a cap and homie down the road, do it during the day so I can get some sleep.
That's right. That's when traffic's the heaviest. If you're going to off each other, do it during the daytime when everything's loud and us normal folk aren't.
We're at work.
Yeah, we're at work. We don't care. Shoot it. I don't even care about Chicago anymore. This is insanity. Look, God bless them. I'm sure that they're trying to do something, but I got a better idea. Why doesn't Chicago start prosecuting these thugs?
Oh, now let's not
who
get
are
crazy
violating firearms laws. They get a slap on the wrist. They get let out the next day. If you and I violate a firearms law, if we're felons and we're caught in possession of a firearm, they're throwing our asses away for years. Okay, they're going to slap us to the 8th degree.
Yeah.
Now, up in Chicago, you can just shoot at each other and it doesn't matter. You get busted, they take your gun, they put you in jail, you get back out the next day, you go get another gun with a serial number filed off. They don't do anything about it. They just let crime run rampant. It's like Kim Fox. There was 2 gangs. This happened a couple years ago. Kim Fox was the state's attorney, I think it was, up in Chicago. If I'm correct, it was state's attorney Kim Fox. I think I'm right there. She refused to prosecute 2 gangs that had a shootout in the streets because it was mutual combat.
Yeah, we talked about that, I remember, a month or 2 ago?
Look, Chicago is a classic example of a liberal hellhole utopia. Did I just say that?
Oh, yeah.
Then I had that thought that only blackout drunks and
just
Steve Urkel could have. Did I do that? A liberal hellhole utopia, okay, where the lunatics literally run the asylum, and the only people that are comfortable are the rich, are the politicians, are the wealthy folk, and the middle class have to pay the ultimate price for it. Okay, that's what's happening in Chicago. That's what's happening in L.A., in San Francisco, in Baltimore, in Dallas, and Houston. in St. Louis. I was just in St. Louis a couple weeks ago. I mean, a city that I used to love has just become nothing but a rotten S-hole.
Yeah.
I mean, it has. They have run these cities into the ground, and they enjoy it. Because if they didn't enjoy it and they didn't want it to be that way, guess what, Dees? It wouldn't be that way.
Right.
And we have breaking news to us. We're going to send it on over to Dees. Dees, tell us what's going on. It obviously can't be anything too good if we're going to bring it up right now on the show.
Yeah. Again, full disclosure, this is Thursday night, a little after 7 p.m. Hunter Biden's tax charges have been dismissed by a federal judge following the plea deal breakdown. The plea deal on a felony gun charge fell through during his first court appearance last month. Hunter Biden's misdemeanor tax charges have been dismissed by a federal judge in Delaware, which was an expected move after the sweetheart plea deal fell through last month during the first court appearance in the case. The Justice Department submitted a filing last week to dismiss the case ahead of a possible trial on Biden's felony gun charge in a different district. After the plea deal fell apart, Biden pleaded not guilty, as federal prosecutors confirmed he's still under investigation. He was expected to plead guilty to the 2 misdemeanor tax counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax as part of the plea deal to avoid jail time on the felony gun charge.
Now, just to clarify, if he was a normal citizen, they'd probably throw him in jail for a little bit.
It would have been felony tax evasion instead of this.
I get it to where, a lot of times when they're prosecuting somebody and they have multiple charges, that they will drop a couple of the lesser charges and go after the big one. Okay?
Which I'm glad that this news broke, because this is something we needed to touch on anyway. So Merrick Garland comes out on, Friday afternoon or Saturday, whenever it was, and said, paraphrasing obviously, enough's enough, we're going to assign a special counsel to this Biden case. So they assigned the guy that gave him the deal to begin with. How is this possible?
I don't. If you're watching at home on YouTube, I didn't make a face when he said that, because I'm not surprised. That I did not know. So you actually took me aback with that one, Dees.
Really? You didn't hear that?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, it's David Weiss. It's the guy that gave him the sweet plea deal anyway.
When did they do this?
Merrick Garland announced it last weekend. It was either Friday or Saturday. I don't know the exact day.
That is...
Yeah.
One of those things like we talked about last week, blatantly in your face. They don't care anymore, Dees. Yeah. They just do not care anymore. And I'm sorry, folks, I missed that one. But no, they don't care. That's why I'm not surprised. If you're watching at home on YouTube, I didn't have a shocked look on my face that they did that. That's when it's getting really bad. Because if this would have been Donald Trump did that, if this would have been George W. Bush did that under these circumstances, everybody would be chasing him out of Washington with torches and pitchforks, would they not?
Oh, absolutely.
Now we're just desensitized to it. That's just how our country works. We're in a banana republic. I don't know what else to say.
Basically, this is, he gives the special counsel, and it's an attempt to basically block the Republican members of Congress, like Comer, from digging any deeper, because now they can say, oh, well, it's under investigation. You can't. Hell, David Weiss was expected to testify.
Yeah.
And now that's off the books because he's the lead investigator, the special counsel. It's an absolute joke. And the stuff that you're hearing where he's arguing now with Biden's attorneys over whether or not this plea deal, the diversion part of the plea deal was binding or not, because Biden's attorneys are arguing that they had a legal and binding agreement on that deal. It's a joke. I'm so just
that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of.
That's one of the reasons why I've got the attitude that I have today. I'm just I'm tired of it. It's all just a friggin' pony show.
This isn't as bad because this is our country we're dealing with here, but that's almost like your boss hiring your mommy to be your manager at work and decide your raises and decide your merit increases. That's about how bad that is.
Yeah, this it's. I hope I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. This is all gonna fall apart, or this is just the beginning of my other theory, in that the libs are starting their turn now as the election starts to ramp up, so that they can basically shove Biden aside and bring on the next president of the United States,
Well,
which is probably going to be Michelle Obama.
I'll tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be RFK Jr.
No,
They already yanked his Secret Service. They dropped him. He's a candidate. He's got no protection at this point. He has to do private security. They've dropped him. He's moving that high up in the polls. And I'm not going to say I agree with RFK Jr. on everything, but they're to the point right now. And I've
moving
said
that high up, you said?
Yeah. RFK Jr. is getting a lot of support. Check him. I think he was at 16%. I think. I'd have to go back and look at the polls. Maybe we can pull that up here in a little bit. But another point, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again in case anybody missed it. They're getting to the point they are doing this with impunity. They know that they don't know anything. They thought they knew in 2016. But I think they're taking measures. There's not a snowball's chance in hell they're going to risk getting an actual America First conservative in there that's going to, for most intents and purposes, send them to the political, frying chair, the electric chair. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see so much sneaky stuff come out, just like this new Eris COVID variant. Have you heard about this? New COVID variant, just in time for election season 2024. They say it's going to be a lot deadlier than the other ones, too.
Yeah, they've
just
been
keep
saying that.
Rinse, wash, repeat on this stuff. Now, something I do want to clarify. I saw a couple YouTube comments about, about the point I made last week about the Form 4473. Okay, the point I was making, they didn't get it. I don't want to say they didn't get it, but I'm going to clarify what I was trying to say. So let's go over that, then we can move on. So there was a guy that I talked about, and I can't remember his name. I don't have the story pulled up in front of me. He got pulled over with firearms in his vehicle, and he was stoned or was smoking pot, right, Dees?
Mm-hmm.
And they went to go hit him because he signed off on the Form 4473 that he wasn't addicted to or a user of marijuana, so he could do the gun transfer. Now, that's completely different than what's going on with Hunter Biden. Now, they let that guy off the hook because, I can't remember, like I said, the story, but constitutionally, they couldn't hold him for that, and they couldn't take away his guns, et cetera, et cetera. I do not have the story, but the difference was, this is what matters. The difference was they had no reasonable evidence that suggested when he signed that Form 4473, he was a user of or addicted to any illicit substance. They couldn't go back and maybe he signed that Form 4473 and certified that he wasn't using pot. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe the last gun he bought, he decided after that he was going to start smoking pot. That's why they couldn't get him on that charge. Okay, folks? There was no way to prove that when he signed that, he was addicted to an illicit substance or he was using it. The difference between that and Hunter Biden.
You mean the guy wasn't traveling around with a laptop that had all kinds of pictures of him smoking marijuana?
No, he wasn't stupid. Exactly.
And
or smoking crack.
Underage minors.
And being with underage minors. Yeah, that's
that's stupid. Underage minors, it's the same thing. Anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, underage minors, whatever. Yeah. Potato, let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, that's the difference. Hunter Biden actually signed that Form 4473. Now, here's the other thing, too. The ATF is not going to go find a Form 4473 just because they're bored one day. They only pull those Form 4473s when a gun has been stolen, lost, found, or involved in a crime.
Or thrown in a dumpster.
So the idiot...
By his brother's wife.
By his brother's wife. So the idiot, okay, not only does he leave his laptop at the computer repair guy's place in a drunken stupor, stoned, cracked out, whatever the hell he was, and forget about it, which has got all his damning and incriminating evidence on it, but it's also got timestamps on all the pictures, too, and all the videos the idiot took of himself smoking crack and screwing prostitutes. Sorry, that was a little vulgar. Sleeping with prostitutes. So it's got all that time-stamped. And then the pistol he had bought, his dead brother's wife, I believe it was, threw it in a dumpster. I can't remember the reason why. Some guy's digging through the dumpster that day, finds a gun, it's close by a school, calls the police. And they run the serial numbers on it. And then they go pull the Form 4473. Now, we knew at the time that he signed for the gun that he did the transfer of the firearm, that he was addicted to and smoking crack cocaine at the time. This is the difference with this. Dees, does that make sense?
Yeah. Perfect.
They can go back and absolutely put the screws to him on this where they couldn't the other guy. So for anybody that needed clarification on what I meant, that was it. Deez, do you have anything to wrap up with on this segment?
Throw me under the bus here.
How about this one?
I got a quick one.
Go ahead.
So Lalapolooza happened.
Yep, just keep going.
Lalapolooza happened a week ago, and this is funny. It's from the New York Post. Some people that were there for the festival decided it would be cool to take a picture there at the L, like by the tracks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And there's 3 of them, and this idiot, they're sitting there. He leans back and rests on the tracks.
Whoa.
Do you know what happens when you touch the tracks on the L?
You get electrocuted.
600 volts.
Yes.
He literally, if you haven't seen it, go watch the video. As soon as he touches the tracks, I mean, he just goes rigid, right? Well, then his girlfriend next to him tries to grab him to pull him away, and of course, she just goes into convulsions. Finally, the third person is able to wrestle them away, and he's in the hospital in stable but critical condition. So if you go to Chicago and you think it'd be cool to take pictures by the L, stay the hell away from the tracks.
Well, that falls under the play stupid games, win stupid prizes.